Hi all, my name is Simon Archer and welcome to another screencast. This screencast I'm going to look at and show you how to create a walkthrough controller for your iPhone Swift application. So what I mean by walkthrough controller is that, as you know, with other popular apps out there, when you launch the application for the first time, it'll take you through a kind of like an explanation welcome screens, and then you can sign in or log in from those welcome screens, and then you can use the application. So for instance, this demonstration application I have here, when the application launches, what you can do is do a conditional check on this initial load to see whether the user's signed in or not signed in. If he's not signed in, we can then trigger the walkthrough, and it takes the user to this walkthrough control, basically a page control, and then from here the user can then either sign up, create a new account, or we can log in with an existing account. So this first video is going to show you just how to create the walkthrough controller, and then the next couple of videos I'll show how to actually use the sign up and login features using the Parse platform as your kind of database. So let's get started on the walkthrough. Okay, cool. So first things first, we're going to create a new Xcode project. So you go and you find Xcode, you go new project, single view applications, perfect. You can now name your project. I'm not going to call this the walkthrough demo. You can name it whatever you want. You can leave these default values here as they are, or add whatever you want to add into them, but it's not really important. We're going to use the Swift language, so make sure Swift is selected, and leave those two as is. So go next. I'm going to ask you where to save it into your default folder, wherever you want to save it to. Okay, so now our project's created, and what we're going to do is actually add a custom walkthrough controller which somebody else has already created for us. So the nice thing about building an application is that sometimes when you're looking to do something, there's a good chance that somebody's already done a project like it before and he's made the files or the controllers available for you to download and use. So that's what we did, or at least that's what someone has done already for us. So the one that we have over here, this is a pre-made controller somebody else has made for us, and you can find this control. We're going to download it from the website. So if you go to this website here at GitHub, I'm going to add the link to the video description, so don't worry about memorizing this right now. So you go to this GitHub page and to the BW walkthrough, and you'll see at the bottom over here he has a bit of a demonstration of exactly what you can do with this walkthrough controller, and it's pretty flexible. You can do some nice animation type effects. You can get quite fancy with it. We're not going to go into the fanciness really of it in this demonstration, but just pretty much implementing the basic walkthrough, and you can experiment as you want to from there. So from this page over here, you're going to download the zip file on the right hand side. Alright, so the zip file then downloads to your computer. You're then going to go to your download folder, unzip the file. It's going to add a new folder, and within the folder there'll be a couple of files and other folders. We're not going to be too interested into these two folders here. They're just there for the walkthrough project that is created for you, where you can play around and see exactly what you can do with it. We're more interested in this folder here and these two files here. So these two files, the walkthrough page view controller and the walkthrough view controller Swift file, select those and add it to your project. Just drag it into your project. It's going to ask you if you want to copy the items needed. You want to do that, so click Finish. Then we have the two files in our project over here. So now what we're going to do is actually add the pages into our storyboard. So select your storyboard, and here we're going to add some view controllers into the storyboard. Just zoom out a bit. Okay. Can't actually add view oh, you can. Okay, cool. So add a few view controllers. I'm going to add 4 view controllers, one to be the main page of my walkthrough and 3 others to be the different pages, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's just add one more. Okay. Alright, so now we have essentially 5 view controllers. This will be our main view controller, which the application launches onto. Then we have, which will be our main walkthrough page, and then these 3 over here will be our page 1, page 2, page 3. So let's start adding some controls into these just so we can better see what we're talking about. So on the main first view controller, let's add a button called show walkthrough. Walkthrough. Okay, cool. We're just going to center that over there. And then you can add the constraints by right-clicking onto the view and center vertically and horizontally. Okay, I'm not going to explain too much about how constraints work in this video. I'm going to assume that you know more or less what they do, but I'm going to do the constraints myself and you can follow along. So we centered this show walkthrough button onto the main view controller. Then our next view controller, we want to select it, and we want to assign this the custom class of BW walkthrough, not the page view controller, but just the normal walkthrough view controller. And we're going to add a button on here, on the 3 buttons. Okay, this one in the middle we can say close, this one on the left we can say sign up, and this one on the right we can say login. Then we're going to add a label just in the top here, and this is going to just say main, just so we know that this will be our main page. You can then add your constraints as you see fit. And then our last one is the main label. We're going to top space and center horizontally. Alright, so that's our main page done. Our next view controller, we're going to give this the custom class of page view controller, BW walkthrough page view controller. Okay, and we can add a label here in the center, and we can just say that this is page 1. So I like to have things kind of aligned nicely. Then on this view controller here, we're going to again give it the same page view controller class and give it the label page 2. And then the third one here, same thing, going to give it the label page 3. And then give it the same custom class of BW walkthrough page view controller. Cool. Another thing we need to do is we need to kind of give these things, these 4 new controllers, IDs. So when we actually load the walkthrough view controller, we load the IDs of each view controller. So what I mean by that is you select the first one, give it the storyboard ID of walk 0. So this will be our main walkthrough page, page 0. Our page 1, we can call it walk 1. Our page 2, we can give it the ID walk 2. And our page 3, we can give it the ID walk 3. Now, I've noticed that sometimes some errors will occur where it can't load the view controller properly for some reason, but I found that if you actually explicitly give it the module, it kind of helps. It's helped a couple of errors I've had before. So you can go and through each page view controller, just make sure that you give it the module of the project. It just seems to help for some reason. So I made one here. I'm going to type walkthrough demo, the name of our project basically. So now what I want to do as well is that I want to give each of these pages their own background. So I went and I googled some iPhone backgrounds, and you can do the same. So I found these 3 backgrounds here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a UI image or an image view to each of these pages here. I'm going to fill the image to be the full size of the screen. Do it for each page. So you can do the same if you want. It just illustrates the pages quite nicely. Okay, now once you've found 3 background images, you can then add them to your project just by dragging them into it. Copy items if need be. And then what I like to do is then just to add these 3 into its new group called images, just purely for housekeeping. Alright, so I've added the 3 background images into my project. I'm going to go back to the storyboard, and then for each of these image views, I'm going to assign them my background. So you'll see that because we gave the image view the full kind of like screen of the controller, it's very stretched out. And for this demonstration, I kind of want it to be the right aspect ratio because there are iPhone screen sizes already. So for the mode here, I'm just going to say aspect fit. Okay. So for each one of these, I'm going to assign the image background 2, and then aspect fit, and then this one here, background 3, aspect fit. Okay, you'll see also that our labels are now behind the image. So on this pretty much view controller documents outline, you'll see here that's for this view controller, our label is behind the picture, so we can actually bring it in front of it and the label appears there. You can do the same for each of these if you find that your label is behind the image, and it brings the label to the foreground. Okay, so now we need to add constraints to our screens here, and you'll see why we need to do that. So if you go to the assistant editor over here, and we choose to look at the preview, this is quite handy when you're doing constraints and doing design, so you can actually see what the page will look like, or the view control will look like on an iPhone screen, for instance. So over here on our iPhone 4, our page 3, even though it's centered on our designer here on our storyboard, it's off center on our iPhone 4 screen. So we need to add the constraints. So let's start with page 1. So let's go back to the first page here, and let's take the background image view and then add the constraints to be leading, trailing, top, and bottom. And you'll see that in the preview it centers it quite nicely. Take the label and then add the constraints to be center vertically and center horizontally. You'll see that it's now in the center. So we're going to do that to each of these pages. So I'm just going to do it quickly, leading, trailing, top, and bottom for the second background image, and then center vertically and horizontally for the label. And then on the third screen, you're going to do the same, leading, trailing, top, and bottom for the background image, and then center vertically and horizontally for the label. So constraints can be quite tricky sometimes. It takes a while to kind of get the hang of it and to master it. So just play around. But for now, if you follow what I'm doing, you should get the same result. So our previews are good. Let's just start with our first view controller. You'll see now that our button's in the center. Go to our then main walkthrough page. Our buttons are aligned correctly. Page 1 looks good, page 2 looks good, and page 3 looks good. Cool. So now that we've designed our storyboard, we want to now hook up the functionality to present the storyboard when we tap on the Show Walkthrough button over here. So by doing that, we can then go to, again, our assistant editor. We can get our main view controller file, so viewcontroller.swift in my case. And then over here, we want to add a new outlet for the Show Walkthrough button. Make sure it's action, and we're going to say Show Walkthrough button pressed. And we can, no arguments really, and we can just say connect. Cool. Whenever I add a new outlet or new action, I always like to kind of add a print line and just copy the function name, just so when we touch the button, we can see in the console that it was pressed. So now we need to add code over here to actually present walkthrough control. So this is the code you need to add. I've typed it out already, so you can just kind of copy it and paste it, or at least copy it by looking at what I've done. Sorry, let me just put the view controller on the main screen here. So this is the code I'm adding. So you'll see here that we're creating a new variable called stb, and this will be the storyboard, and the storyboard will be of the main storyboard. So if you look on the left hand side here, our storyboard is called main, so hence we're calling it, the name will be the main, and we're giving it the, passing it to the variable stb. We're then creating a new walkthrough variable, which will be a view controller. So we're saying that let walkthrough be of the storyboard, the view controller with identifier walk0. So remember, we added an ID to each of our view controllers, walk0, 1, 2, 3. This is why it's important. So we're creating a walkthrough variable with the ID of walk0 as the BW walkthrough view controller. So this is the class we gave of that main view controller at the very beginning. All right. Then I've created 3 other variables called page 1, page 2, page 3. These will also be view controllers of the ID walk1, walk2, walk3. And these will just be normal view controllers. That's fine. So once we've created these variables, we're going to call upon the delegates of the BW walkthrough view controller, set it to self, and then we're going to add the 3 view controllers to the main view controller. So you'll see walkthrough, add view controller page 1, page 2, page 3. Then at the end, we're going to present the view controller of walkthrough, we're going to animate it, and then that'll be it. You'll see it's giving us the error that the view controller does not conform to protocol BW walkthrough view controller delegate, and that's because we haven't added the BW walkthrough delegate to the view controller file. So to fix that, on the top here, I'm just going to then type BW walkthrough view controller delegates right over here. And then that error should go away. Cool. So now if we now run the application in our simulator, there should be no errors. Build succeed. And our app launches, and we get to our main view controller page. It should just have the show walkthrough button. There you go. Alright, so now our application is launched. We have our show walkthrough button. So once we click the show walkthrough button, it's going to call upon this method over here, and we'll see the print line show walkthrough button pressed in the console, and these actions will happen, and we'll see our walkthrough controller. So we click on it, and that's it. So I'm just going to show you what's happened and what everything is, and kind of like just the flow of it right now. So if we look back at our main storyboard, you'll see that we went from this page over here to this main page, and you can see the main label here appears over here as well. But we also see page 1, which doesn't appear on this main page. And page 1 is this screen here. So our main page is pretty much like the background of our 3 pages or however many pages you have. So now if I scroll here, I see page 2 and page 3. And you also notice that the sign up, close, and login buttons at the bottom of the main page persist on each of these pages, which is quite cool. Okay, so now we've got a walkthrough controller working. We can page through the different pages. Next video, I'm going to show you how to hook up these 3 buttons here to close the walkthrough, sign up a user, and log in a user, and then take it from there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.